Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Kai, and this is a brief video related to the Clubhouse discussion Lewis and I hosted with guest speaker Seraphim Hamilton on the topic which tradition, Christianity or Islam, can make a stronger case for being in continuity with the prophets. In this discussion, a Muslim who identifies by the name of Khitir decided to come on stage and engage us. One of the things that is quite apparent is that Khitir, like most Muslims, do not understand why paradigm comparisons matter. In our discussion, I attempted to have Khitir engage on the role of messiahship in Christianity and Islam, because the notion of Messiah is held in common by Christians, Jews, and Muslims. However, the Quran itself does not elaborate what Messiah means. Nevertheless, it is a historical reality that Muhammad ministered to Christians and Jews, and in doing so, he would have needed to utilize an understanding of messiahship familiar to Christians and Jews if he expected them to take him seriously as a prophet in continuity with their respective traditions. So the question then becomes, which paradigm makes most sense for someone to have the title Messiah, especially if the Quran admits to the understanding of Christians and or Jews? In this exchange, you will hear that not only does Khitir not understand how paradigm comparisons work and why they are important, but that he feigns ignorance in not knowing what his own religion, Islam, teaches Jesus, or in Quranic Arabic, Isa, being the Messiah even means. So here you have a Muslim who wants to argue in favor of Islam being in continuity with the prophets, yet states that he does not even understand what his own religion means when it calls someone the Messiah.
First of all, I've been listening for 20 minutes, and what are we basing this on, and who follows the prophets? Because your criteria presumably is the Bible, our criteria is the Quran and Sunnah. So we have different criteria. So obviously we're gonna talk past each other. You guys gonna use your evidence, we're gonna use our evidence. So I don't see the point of this discussion.
Well, I think there's the question of do we have reason to think that the Quran legitimately represents what the Prophet said? Is there any reason to think that the Quran is telling us really what the Prophet said versus whether the Hebrew Bible stands as a more accurate representation of that? Why would you say that the Quran represents, for example, what Isaiah or Moses taught?
Yeah, well, I believe in the Quran because I have independent reasons for believing the message of the Prophet. And by that, I believe in the stories of the Quran. That's how I work it out. Presumably, you have the same thing. You believe in generally Christianity because you have good reasons to believe in Christianity. And you have good reasons to believe that the teaching that Jesus came with was a triune message, right, or whatever, right? And from there, you extrapolate that whatever is contained within the Bible and given to you by the apostles, etc., must be the true teachings of the prophets, or whatever, right?
Let me ask a question then to you, Khitir. Explain to me, based on your tradition and your beliefs, what the title of Al-Masih, the Messiah, in the Quran, in Islam, what does that title mean?
Al-Masih,
Yeah,
the Messiah, I guess. I don't know.
you have a figure. You have a figure that you call a prophet in your book that is called Al-Masih, the Messiah. What does that title mean, and why does that prophet have that title?
Well, because he's the one who comes back on the Day of Judgment.
No. What does Al-Masih mean? That's what I'm asking you. And by that meaning...
Kai, you're really quiet.
Sorry, I'll try to speak a little bit louder. Based on what that meaning is, why is it given to that particular person? What does coming back at the Day of Judgment have to do with being called Al-Masih? First of all, what does Al-Masih mean?
Yeah, so I don't know if you're asking me for the linguistic definition. I would know that. You can look that up. But
I'm telling you, you read the Quran and you see the word Al-Masih appear in an ayah. What does it mean?
yeah, I'm in the process of answering. I told you there's something called a linguistic definition and a technical definition of these words, right? If you're seeking a linguistic definition, I can't tell you that. I haven't studied the word linguistically, what it means. You can look it up in dictionary, right? I
Okay,
presumably it's gonna
let me give you
mean.
an
Let me
example.
finish. No, let me finish.
Just let me
Technically,
give you an example. I'll just give you an
no,
example.
I don't
So
care
if
about
you
your
say
examples.
somebody,
I'm not interested in your
Let's
example.
let him finish. I want to hear what he says.
because
Maybe we can just let Khitir
I'll
say.
let you talk. I'll let you talk, but you're talking about linguistic meaning. But I'll just give you an example here, just to what I'm trying to elicit. For example, you hear King David. He has a title called King. By that means he has a kingdom, he has authority, he has rulership. So there's some kind of understanding that you get from that simple word. So you have that word appear in the Quran that says Isa is Al-Masih. How do you understand it? I don't care about your classification of linguistics and bring it down. Give me just a simple answer.
I
A
think
simple answer.
Kai, we'll let Khitir respond, and then Seraphim can take over. I think. What do you think?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm telling you, these technical terms have a linguistic definition and a technical definition, right? The linguistic definition are within the dictionaries, right? And the technical definitions are given by the scholars. You can look either one of them up. I don't. What's the issue here?
I'm asking you. You said that you have reasons to believe in the Quran and its prophets. This person who is ascribed Al-Masih is in common to both traditions. So we want to see how that title relates into both traditions. Does the title Al-Masih make more sense in Christianity, or does it make more sense in Islam? And you can't even tell me what it means in Islam.
So what? So I'm ignorant on the word Masih. What's the point? I mean, you're ignorant on a lot of Arabic words. What's that? What does that follow? Like, what follows from that?
You're telling me that you have no idea why Isa is called Al-Masih.
Yeah. Do you have any idea why the prophet is called X, Y, and Z? I mean, there's many things I'm ignorant on. What does that follow from? I don't get it.
I think that's fair. If he doesn't know, that's okay.
No, Seraphim, we know this person, okay? He's been around for a while. We know him. He's just playing retarded. Okay, he knows the question.
Dude, I'm asking you a question. Like, I'm telling you, nothing follows from what you're saying. You're just telling me, oh, you don't know that word.
Don't worry about it. Let's just let Seraphim have it.
It's pretty retarded reasoning. You don't think like, oh, he doesn't know a word.
Calm down.
Come on, boys.
You don't know why in Islamic tradition you don't know why Jesus is called the Messiah. Really, you're gonna go with that. You're gonna say you don't know why Jesus is called the Messiah.
Let's just let him go with that, Kai. Let's just let him go with that.
Well, I can guess, but I don't want to guess.
I'm gonna let Seraphim talk. Okay, let's let Seraphim talk.
No, I just want to understand what Kai's point was, because
don't worry about it.
No, at this point,
we're talking about. Here's the point.
Why are you freaking out, Kai? It's not good for you. It's not healthy.
Here's the point. You have this question of which tradition follows in line with the prophets, Christianity or Islam. We have a figure who is held in common that has the same title. And we can give an explanation for why he has that title within our paradigm. And I'm asking you to give that explanation in your paradigm to see whether or not that figure makes sense in your paradigm. And I'm saying you can't, and you're saying is you don't know.
Yeah, I can guess, but I'm not sure about it. And even though I didn't provide you one, doesn't mean there isn't one given by the scholars.
No, I'm asking you. Just give us a reason.
He said he doesn't know. Let's just let him. Let's
just
let him be with that, and then Seraphim, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is that when the Quran says that Jesus is the Messiah, and when it says that he is the Messiah, therefore, the Jews ought to believe in him, that, the word Messiah has a specific kind of theological context. The word Messiah means something specific within the message of the prophets, which the Jews themselves possess. So the question is really, well, what idea of the Messiah is available to the Jewish people within the scriptures which they possessed at that time. And that's where I would refer back to what I said in my opening statement, which is that there's a very specific understanding of the Messiah which is set forth in the Torah and the prophets, and that understanding of the Messiah is one which leads into the person of Jesus, who accomplishes what the Messiah was supposed to accomplish, and publicly does so by being the one in whose name the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is made known to all nations of the world. I mean, if ultimately Khitir doesn't believe that this is a useful discussion, then I don't know if there's anything really to say in response to that. But that's what I would say on a general note.
No, I didn't say it's a useful discussion. I just
Not
didn't
useful.
understand. I didn't understand initially, like, what's the point of this? I mean, Kai was telling me I didn't know a word. Presumably, he knows what the scholars say about the word. So why don't you just tell me what they say and just tell me if it's wrong or not? What's your disagreement? Like, I'm not
Well,
interested in this.
so for example, you have commentaries, and you can find it in Imam Nawawi's commentaries to Sahih Muslim. He says that the word is related to wiping, and Isa was given that title because whenever he would perform a miracle, it was accompanied by him wiping on the person. So, for example, if he was to restore sight, he would wipe the person's eyes. If he was to restore a limb or something, he would wipe where that limb is, because that is the root word is related to the idea of wiping. And so then I would probe you on that and say, well, how does that particular act or that understanding of that word al-Masih, how does that compare to the concept of being anointed or Christ or Messiah within Christianity? That's where the discussion is. It's, does your paradigm make sense more than our paradigm? And you can't even answer a basic question
All
that
right,
one of your own prophets, why they're called the title.
So let's say it means that whatever Imam Nawawi said about wiping someone's forehead or whatever he wiped, right? And then you want me to compare that with your understanding or your biblical understanding of the Messiah, and then you said, "Oh, then we can know which which tradition is the correct one." Like, how would me comparing that to Christianity's understanding of the Messiah get me to know which tradition is true?
Well, I think because, to my knowledge, the way that the word is used in the Quran is used in relation to Jews and Judaism. And I think you can look at the question of, well, does Judaism's understanding of what that word Messiah signifies, is it about something like wiping because it uses it in a way that expects it to be intelligible to the Jews? Or is it something which is more analogous to the Christian concept of the Messiah?
Okay, and this would depend on your reading of the Jews and what their understanding of what they meant when they said Messiah, right?
Well, I mean, it would, but I think there's certain things which are just kind of basic foundational points about the idea of the Messiah that Christians and Jews would agree on. That, for example, he's the son of David, that he's the one to whom the nations will look, that he's the one who will ultimately bring the presence of God permanently into the world. And so when you say to a Jew, this person is the Messiah, the question is, well, did this person do those things? And that's where that's kind of the terms in which the argument is held.
Yeah. I want to ask the thing that Noah we quoted. Did he make clear whether that was like the technical or the linguistic, or what it linguistically means?
I'm not going to do your homework for you. I gave you the source. Go and look it up yourself. And when you come with knowledge, then we'll discuss.
All right. So you're not willing to give that information out because it might hurt you.
No,
No
I'm not
problem.
going to. I'm not going to teach
All right.
you.
I'm gonna
I
move
told
on.
you-
Just to interject the Clubhouse discussion for the benefit of Christians, I provide here the sources from Imam Nawawi's commentaries to Sahih Muslim, how Muslim scholars understand the term Messiah, or Al-Masih in Arabic. Imam Nawawi gives both linguistic and functional understandings. Quote, Jesus is also called Al-Masih, which is derived from the root mim, sin, ha, which means to wipe, rub lightly, etc. Al-Masih is an adjective applicable to Jesus and to the false one, and it means an object that has been wiped clean. Scholars have expressed numerous views as why Jesus is referred to by this adjective. Abu Ubaid and Al-Layth said that it is a Hebrew name pronounced Mashiach, but that it changes in the Arabic, just as Moses is pronounced in Arabic Musa, while its original Hebrew pronunciation is Musha or Misha. If we take this view, then Al-Masih would be a foreign word that is not derived from an Arabic root. Most scholars, however, say that it is derived from an Arabic root, but they differ as to the reason for deriving this name for him. Ibn Abbas said, because whenever he wiped someone with an injury or disability, that person was cured. Others say that Zechariah wiped his body when he was born, or because when he was born his body appeared to be wiped with oil, or he was wiped with blessings, but other views are expressed. As for the false one, he is called Al-Masih because this is an adjective describing a one-eyed person and he is one-eyed, but other views are expressed. Qadi Iyad said that both Jesus and the false one have the same name, but Jesus is the Masih of right guidance, while the other is the Masih of falsehood. End quote. And also from a footnote by the editor who translated these commentaries into English. Quote, the Arabic word Masih is used to refer to Jesus, peace be upon him, and to the impostor, i.e. the Dajjal. As an Arabic word, it is derived from a root that means to wipe, and the word means wiped off. When it is used to refer to the impostor, the qualification impostor is always mentioned with it. In his case, it is used in its linguistic sense, because the impostor is one-eyed, as his other eye is wiped off. Alternatively, it is said that one side of his face has neither an eye nor an eyebrow. Another suggestion is that when he walks, he wipes the earth with his feet. When Al-Masih refers to Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, it refers to those instances when he wiped with his hand someone with a physical defect, such as one with impaired vision or an albino, and that person was cured by God's will. Other suggestions based on the blessings God granted him are also stated. End quote.